What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. We're going to try something a little bit different on this channel. I know we've done breakfast a few times, but we've never done anything like this. On this week's episode, we're going to be making blueberry crepes. So to kick things off, let's make some crepes. We're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of flour. To that we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar, pinch of salt, 2 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of milk and 2/3 of a cup of water, 1/4 cup of melted and then cooled. It doesn't have to be totally cooled. You just don't want it like piping hot out of the microwave hot. 1/4 cup of the melted butter. And finally, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Give that a whisk. If you want to do this a slightly different way, you could as well. You could mix the dry ingredients together, mix the wet ingredients together, and then slowly add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. I probably should have done that myself, but I wasn't thinking squarely or smartly when I did it, so here we are. It should work out the same anyway. 2 different ways to get the same end result. Because I did it this way, just going to use the hand mixer, make sure it's well blended together. You don't want to turn this on too high or you will shoot batter all over everywhere. So after a couple minutes, it should be well incorporated. We're going to stick this into the refrigerator just to let everything sit for a little while we carry on with the rest of the parts to our crepes. Now let's start on our compote. We got 1 cup of blueberries we're going to add to a pan. To that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I wouldn't recommend adding mayonnaise. It probably wouldn't taste very good. 2 tablespoons of water and a tablespoon of lemon juice, freshly squeezed, and a 1/2 teaspoon of, you guessed it, vanilla extract. Then we'll let this cook over medium heat for about 8 to 10 minutes, just basically cooking that sugar down, breaking down those blueberries some, and then we'll be back to show you what's next. After about 8 minutes or so, we're going to add another cup of blueberries. We're going to cook that down for another 5 to 8 minutes. So after about another 8 minutes, your compote should be cooked. So we're going to turn the heat off. We're going to take this off to the heat. We're just going to set it aside. The reason I did it now, I want this to cool slightly. It doesn't have to be cold, but you don't want it piping hot either. You're just going to burn your mouth. So we'll set this aside and we'll carry on with the next step. Now it's time to make some whipped cream. So we're going to start with a cup of heavy whipping cream and 2 tablespoons of white sugar. Then we're going to take our hand mixer. We're going to beat that together until medium peaks form. You don't want soft peaks where it just kind of all flattens out. You don't want the hard peaks or stiff peaks where it's really hard. You want that nice soft kind of medium in between where you get peaks, but it's not hard. It's kind of, you could pipe it out if you needed to. And again, you want to start fairly slow or you're going to end up launching milk all over your kitchen. So I would say right now we're at soft peaks. As I said, not quite firm enough. So we're going to firm that up just a little tiny bit more. You don't want to go too far, but it does need to be a little tiny bit more firm. And there you have it. You can see if you lift it up, it kind of forms a stiff peak and it doesn't really move, but it's still soft enough that it kind of slides off your spatula a little bit. Wouldn't want to go any further than that. So that's good to go. We can pull that aside and we'll start on our cream cheese mixture. Now it's time to start on our cream cheese fillings. We're going to start with 4 ounces of cream cheese. That cream cheese has been softened. We've left it out all afternoon, so it's at room temperature, nice and soft. You could do it hard. It's just not going to mix together as well. I would highly recommend you just leave it on the counter for a couple of hours. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of icing sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of, yep, you guessed it, vanilla extract. Then we're going to take our hand mixer once again, and we're going to mix this together until it's nice and smooth. And once you're satisfied that's mixed together, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of your homemade whipped cream to that. Then we're going to take our spatula, we're going to try to fold the whipped cream into the cream cheese mixture. And once again, once you've got that well mixed together and it's nice and smooth, we're going to set that aside. It's time to start cooking up our crepes. Now for our crepes, we're going to get a pan nice and hot. Doesn't have to be piping hot or anything. You just want it hot. We're going to add just enough butter to coat the bottom of the pan. Once your pan is hot, we're going to take a 1/4 cup of the crepe mixture. We're going to pour it in our pan. And then we're going to take our pan and we're going to spin it all the way around till we've coated the entire bottom of the pan with our crepe mixture. Then we're going to let that cook for about 30 seconds or so until it's nice and hard. Now comes the fun part. You've got to flip it over. Just going to take it, we're going to flip it. That actually turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. All right, so there we go. So let's transfer our crepe to our plate. Now it's time to start filling it up. So now you can either fill these 2 different ways. You could put a big lump of each in the middle and roll it over top of it, or you can try it the way I'm going to try it here today. Take a little bit of our cream cheese mixture here, and I'm actually going to try to spread it over as much of this as I can. This is where room temperature cream cheese comes in handy. It spreads a lot easier than the stuff that would come right out of the fridge. We're just going to take this, we'll spread it kind of over as much of this as we can. There's our blueberry filling. Then we're going to try to roll this up as best we can. We'll just add a little bit of whipped cream to the top, right in the middle. We'll pour some of the berry right over the top of it. And there you have it. As you can see, I'm not the most talented at beautifying the plate. I tried. It doesn't look too bad. I'm sure some of you at home are thinking, I could do it a lot better than that. Maybe you can. The key is, how does it taste? So let's give it a try and see how it is. That's very, very good. I'm not a huge blueberry fan, but this is fantastic. Even if you don't like blueberries, you're going to like this. Sweet, sour, you get all those nice flavors. Vanilla, this is just terrific. If you're looking for a fancy meal to serve, doesn't take a lot of time, and isn't that difficult, I highly recommend these. And as you can see, pinwheeling it actually made a nice difference because you've got berry and that cream cheese mixture all the way through it as opposed to just kind of a mound of it in the middle. If you can do it this way, I'd recommend it. Much better flavor this way. So that's it for this video. Hit like if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload next. We upload a new video every Friday afternoon. We always put the recipe in the description box below. Share the video with all of your friends and comment down below. What did you think of this recipe? Or better yet, what would you like to see us make next? Oh, and don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. So good.